So in this video, I thought we'd have a look at the Midi export that Suno currently offers, just to see how we compare. A lot of producers are asking for this functionality. I did do a video before, but I got into a little bit of a mess with it because I was using a different PC at the moment, so I only had GarageBand available to me, so it was a bit confusing. So I thought we'd give it another shot. So let's have a listen at this generation. Now, I've chosen this generation for a few reasons. I'll come on to it in a moment.
If I knew what I wanted, I'd take it like a thief in the night. You never see me coming, but I don't know what I want.
Okay, so to start with, the timing is absolutely spot on with this kind of mellow indie pop song. And I felt it's got a good beat. The clarity of the mix is quite good with version 5. Let's carry on.
So I'm treading lightly. If I knew how to love you, I'd take your hand and never let go. Oh, I make my arms your castle, but I don't know how to love. So I'm treading lightly. If I knew who I was, I could be her in your eyes. I could show up as the one, but I don't know who I am. So I'm treading lightly.
Can you hear the piano stabs there? They're on every single beat.
If I knew how to love you, I'd take your hand and never let go. Oh, I make my arms your castle, but I don't know how to love. So I'm treading lightly, treading lightly, treading lightly, treading lightly, treading lightly, treading lightly, treading lightly.
Okay, so you get the gist of that, and then it just repeats the chorus. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the ellipse button, and we're going to go to Get Stems / Midi, which is the Pro. So you need to have the Pro package to be able to do this. Now, you've got two options, all or just vocals and instrumentals. So I'm going to go for all because I really want to give this the best chance that it has. In fact, for Midi, you need to do this anyway. And it's going to do two different versions. Now, it'll listen to the entire track and it will start to extract the drums, the vocals, the backing vocals, the bass, hopefully the piano as well. Don't think there was any guitar in there. I think the last example that I gave was EDM, so that was a little bit quite tricky. So this is what we've got. We've got a tiny bit of guitar in there. We've got keyboard, we've got percussion, synth, other, drums, lead, backing, and bass. Okay, so that looks good. I don't think I'm going to go with version 2. Let's just have a quick look. That's interesting. Percussion's really come out on the other generation, but not guitar. Let's go with version 1. I'm gonna select WAV and MIDI files. Okay. It's always good to have everything. And I'm going to click download all. Now this might take some time. Now this is doing it straight from Suno rather than in Suno Studio. I'm not 100% if you can export the MIDI in Studio at the time of recording this video, but I know you can definitely do it via this model, which is why I'm doing it from here. So we'll just give it a second to do that because it has to do one at a time. Okay, that's good. So how are we looking? We've got one here, MIDI transcript on the bass. Looks as though it's done the others. Now you could choose just MIDI files if you wanted to. You can just export the audio, you don't have to do MIDI. But the joy of doing MIDI is that you have the programmable data that you can then add new instruments to. And that would hide the fact that it's not AI generated in some respects, depending on how you go about it. So for people wanting to do their own creations, I completely understand why that's the case, that people want to do that. And I have done quite a few AI music related videos on this channel for the last 2.5 years, particularly around Suno, but other digital audio workstations, etc. So you might want to have a look at that. So we've got Treading Lightly here, and I'm going to just have a look at the folder and unzip it. See what we've got here. So as you can see, you got your MIDI, you got your individual WAV files as well, which is your audio. So what interestingly, it hasn't done one for vocals.mid, but then it's done one for backing vocals.mid. But we wouldn't want to use vocals anyway, because we'd probably still want to keep the same one anyway. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to actually download this as itself. So download WAV audio. Again, you need Pro to do this, just so that we've got the track in its entirety, because you can, if you only use the stems, it's not always a good thing to do. It's nice to have the full track as well in its entirety. So that's where we currently are. Now in terms of what I'm going to use Cubase. Now I've done a few videos on Cubase, just as like beginner videos that might prove quite useful for you guys if you are interested in this digital audio workstation, but there's many to choose from, okay? So I'm just going to go onto an empty project, and I'm just going to literally, Treading Lightly, that was it. I'm just going to, oh, I've got my coffee in my hand. Right, so let me, sorry, let me just go to, where am I here? Why does FL Studio want to load at the same time? That's a bit weird. Right, so Treading Lightly, MIDI test. So that's our project folder, and I'm going to click open. Now what it's going to do is it's going to open this for us, which is our digital audio workstation. We can add a new track as an instrument if we want to, or as a MIDI. So I'm just going to click MIDI for that and go add track. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore the backing vocals. I'm hoping it's got the beats per minute in here. So we're currently looking at 120 in terms of Cubase. So when I drag the bass onto the actual track, I wanted to go on 0, but still. It's still kept it at 120. So let's try the next one. We've then got the drums. I'm just dragging it now, just in the hope that it'll do that for us, which it's done. I don't understand. We've got rack instruments on here. Has it done it automatically on an instrument? Okay, so what happens now if I drag bass underneath? Nothing. Okay, that was interesting. Has it changed the BPM? No, it's still 120. It may be that the track is 120 anyway. So then we got effects. Looks as though that effects didn't work. Perhaps there wasn't any anyway. Hasn't done the guitar. Let's have a look at the keyboard. It's done the keyboard here. I've got a feeling these aren't going to match up. Guitar it hasn't found. Keyboard is just done. I think I just did that twice by accident. Percussion? Yeah, I did. Let me get rid of that. Hide. So we've got the percussion there. Synth is quite an important one, I imagine. There we go. Can you see it knows where to place them? And then we've got vocals on top. So absolutely no work on the track at all. How is this going to sound? Let's have a listen. Hmm. Right. And this is why I wanted to do this video, because this is what I suspected. Now, the reason why the drums sound so bad is because we need to map these drums to different keys. So it may be a case that we need to like listen to what this bass drum sounds like. So that's why, because it's selected to that one. So that's no good. So that needs to be changed. And obviously the bass was not quite right. If I solo the bass, let's have a listen. Yeah, nothing on the bass at all. And it did a good job with the synth, but could you tell the beats were off as we went on to the piano stabs? Is it here? Let me solo. That worked fine. Then it went off. Did you notice that? If I put the metronome on, you'll listen. You'll hear it. So the Midi is just not accurate in terms of what we need it to do. There is an alternative though, so bear with me. So that's Cubase. Now something that I've featured on this channel before is RipX. So let me go into RipX. If I can remember how to shortcut. RipX. This is another digital audio workstation, but this is similar to Melodyne in that it recognizes audio and can produce the MIDI from it. So all we need to do with this, well, we've got two different ways to do this. If I go new and I drag the synth onto here, you're able to put in the MIDI, and can you see it's already done that? Now with all digital audio workstations, what you can do when something's off, you can correct it. But this is just as an example. Okay, so let me just do a section on here. No, not that section there. So what you could do here, for example, it's tedious work, but you can select these and you can move them to the beat. In fact, it would be half and half, wouldn't it? So that's how you'd pretty much do that. Or the other way, and this is where RipX comes into its own, is remember we downloaded the audio file. So if I go to downloads, and this time I go new, bear with me, project new. Don't want to save my changes. And instead of using those MIDI exports, I want to drag the track. And what it's going to do, it's going to do exactly the same thing. It's going to separate the stems, but I'm able to change the notes as if they were MIDI, right? So bear with me. So I'm going to click rip, and you can see the project files on here. It's 3 minutes. Now, while we're waiting for that to encode, if we have a look at RipX, because I've featured it on this channel before. Let's have a quick look at it. You get so much control in this because it's known as an AI digital audio workstation. So it's not just about stem separation, it's about having full control over every single note, harmonic and sound. You can isolate certain elements. You've got a free trial. for 21 days on hitandmix.com. Various videos about it. And then you've basically got these different options here. Pro is what I fully recommend because you'll want enhanced stem cleanup, audio repair and effects, audio shop advanced creative tools. But if I go to buy now, you'll then see that the Pro version is 198 Great British Pounds and the RipX Store version is 99%. You get 50% educational discount. But what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at it, right? So we've got 2 minutes. You just let it do its thing. I'm just going to pause this, the video. Yeah, so just going back to Suno, the export of stems as audio files is fantastic. And you're able to put those into Suno Studio if you want to, and then you can play around with them in there. And as long as you can work with those audio files within Suno Studio or your normal digital audio workstation, then that's fine. Then you can export it to a full track. But when it comes to MIDI export, it's just not there yet. And that's why I wanted to demonstrate that on here. But I'm sure you appreciate it. It's hard to demonstrate it, which is why I had trouble before. So hopefully that's become quite clear that the timing of the notes is off. I've also noticed from personal experience that the certain notes are missed off as well when it tries to export the MIDI. So you won't get every single note that you can hear as an audio as a MIDI note. So that's something else to bear with, which is why I'm recommending this tool. So on that note, we now have treading lightly. So what we have on the left hand side, can you see all of these colours? We've got all of the different stems that we've got full control over. We can mute, we can solo them, and we've got volume control on here as well. So let me have a quick play. Let's have a listen. Let me just minimize Suno to avoid any problems and expand RipX. There we go.
If I knew what I wanted, I'd take it like a thief in the night. You never see me coming, but I don't know what I want.
Right, can you remember I was on about the beats per minute as 120? Well, RipX has automatically determined that this song is 112 and it's done that for us. So that's really helpful, right? So what we can then do, we've got some options. We can work with the track in here, and I'll go into that in a moment, or we can export, and we can then export as MIDI on here and try it from there into our typical digital audio workstation. And you can do it as separate stems or separate layers. The layers I'll come on to in a moment. But the option's there if you don't want to use the tool and you just want to use it for exporting MIDI, okay? If I just click on voice, now remember what I said? I said that this can be changed as if it was MIDI, even though it's an audio file. So, can you see and visualize all of this? These are the vocals.
I take it like a thief in the night.
So, this in the night, right? If I zoom in, there. Now let's have a listen.
Thief in the night.
Or one more down there. So you can change any single note on here.
Take it like a thief in the night.
See? And I can say that that needs to be shorter. And you can expand further out if you want. You can kind of audio stretch it. So you can do what you like with it. So that was just voice as an example. If I go to piano, can you see there's no piano around here? Because that's this part of the song. When it gets to here, we've got bass as well. Let's have a listen to the bass because that's probably going to be easier to listen to. So I'm just soloing it now. Got the metronome on. So that last note was a little too long. Actually, it wasn't too bad on second. But that's what I mean. You can move it to where you want it to go. You can shorten it, you can bring it in earlier, you can delete it if you want, okay, just with the backspace. So you've got full control over this song now. Absolute full control. It may be that you don't want the bass at the beginning, so you just delete it. Whoa, what have I done there? I think I've just crashed the thing. Bear with me. No, it was me. I haven't crashed it. It's because I'm working off my laptop on my knee. So if I go to here, unsolo that, you now won't hear the bass at the beginning.
If I knew what I wanted, I'd take it like a thief in the night.
Remember we changed that bit.
You never see me coming.
The bass will come in a minute.
But I don't know what I want, so I'm treading lightly.
Now the other good thing about this is that you are able to change the sound. Now this, again, I need to try and demonstrate that for you. Let's have a listen to the kick. Where's the kick?
If I knew how to love.
Okay, we got that. So we've got kicks on here. So let's have a listen. That sounds a better kick drum, doesn't it? So there's lots of things you can do with RipX, and this is what I actually recommend that you do. I don't think you can change vocals on here, but what you can do is you can add effects to vocals. So just unsoloing that and just clicking on the voice on here. Let's have a listen.
I take it like a thief in the night. You never see me coming.
Try some reverb.
But I don't know what I want, so I'm treading lightly.
Turning it up.
If I knew how to love you, I'd take your hand and never let go. Oh, I make my arms your castle, but I don't know how to love, so I'm treading lightly. If I knew who I was, I could be her in your eyes. I could show up as the one, but I don't know who I am, so I'm treading lightly. If I...
And the other great thing is, could you hear the hallucination then, right? So if we zoom in, you can hear it around here. There, so get rid of that. So you just delete it. Delete that. Zoom in again. Get rid of that. And you might want to get rid of this bit here.
If I knew how to love you, I'd take your hand and never let go. Oh, I make my arms your castle, but I don't know how to love, so I'm treading lightly.
So we've got our new kick. So that's what I would recommend, is using RipX. If you want to change a AI generated track, rather than exporting the MIDI out of Suno, just export the audio file. And by all means, you can still extract the stems if you want to, but RipX does such a good job of extracting the stems on RipX that you can just work with one track in its entirety. You can add effects to it. You can delete notes that you don't want. You can change notes. You can change the pitch, the length. You can delete them. Any kind of notes that you don't want yet, get rid of. And you can change as well. Now, let's just have another quick listen to maybe just one more instrument. Let's have a listen to the bass. Let's get rid of effects. Of course, you can put effects on instruments. Bass. That works. There you go. I think I prefer the bass guitar actually. So you're able to change that. There are loops as well that you might want to add in. Let's just try keyboard. Rock and pop. I don't think I've done this one before, to be fair, so we're probably going to leave loops for now. But there's lots you can do with this DAW, this AI DAW. So I hope that's helped. To clarify Suno Studio's position on exporting MIDI. But remember, we're in beta 1 with Suno Studio. It may be that MIDI gets better going forwards, so we might just have to bear with it. But that is a workaround that I would recommend, is using RipX. So I hope that's helped, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.